Hello students, very good morning to one and all. I hope you all are safe and healthy at your home. So in the last lecture, I have started with the industrial sector. What is the growth? What was the growth of industrial sector from 1991 till the date, right? So we have seen the introduction of the industrial sector. After that, we have seen what are the industrial growth from 1991 till 2013, 18 तक we have seen, right? So the next content we are moving ahead was the evolution of industrial policy of government of India. अभी next content हम evolution करेंगे. Either the content, the topic will be evolution of industrial policy of government of India, or we are going to say what are the industrial policies and the regulations in India. क्या policies है, क्या regulations हैं, तो हम वो बोलेंगे. So in this we are going to start with the industrial policy prior to 1991. हमारी जो industrial policy है which is prior to 1991, that is the government of India has adopted इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी सिंस 1948 से अडॉप्ट की है हम लोगों ने. सो आफ्टर इंडिपेंडेंस द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया पास द फर्स्ट 6 पॉलिसी रेजोल्यूशन on 6th April 1948 which marked the beginning of the mixed economy. So this was the beginning of the mixed economy in India, and some of them are as follows. The first one over here is the Industrial Policy Resolution 1948. In this resolution, what government has did is, after the independence, the government announced the Industrial Policy Resolution 1948 with the objective to define the scope of government participation in economic activity and the role of the private capital in the process of development. This was the main aim of the Industrial Policy Resolution 1948. So the next main features of Industrial Policy 1948 was, first one, they are going to acceptance of the importance of both public and the private area. Here, they are going to give importance to both the sector, your public sector as well as the private sector. They are going to increase or give the role of small and cottage industry. Here, the role of these two industries, that is small and the cottage industry, they are going to main focus on these industries. And the last one is the division of industrial sector. So these was the three main features of industrial policy 1948. Now this industrial policy resolution 1948 have divided industry into 4 categories. So they have divided industry into 4 categories. The first one is the industry where state had a monopoly. In this industry, where the state are going to play as a monopoly is a single seller. So this is the one category. Second one is the mixed sector, where both public and the private sector will be included. Next one, the field of government control, where in that industry, the percentage of government share will be 51, or we can say the share of government is more to control the management, to control the functions of the sector, right? And the last one is the field of the private enterprises. Now the industries are divided in the private sector. so that they can earn maximum profit from it. They can give a good quality of goods and services in the economy or in the market. So these are the four categories of industries which are divided under the Industrial Policy 1948. These are the just introduction or the objectives and the revision of industries in the Industrial Policy Resolution 1948. We are moving ahead with the second point, that is the Industrial Act 1951. Now this Industrial Act, they have specified for the development and the regulation, that is Industrial Development and Regulation Act 1951. In this, the government has explained that to control and regulate the process of industrial development in the country, an act was passed by the parliament in October 1951, known as Industrial Development and Regulation Act 1951. So here, in this, they are going to control and regulate. Regulate on the regular basis, they're going to see the development in the industrial sector. So to focus on this content, what they have did, they have just passed an act. The act name was the Industrial Development Regulation Act, which was passed in the Parliament in October 1951. The Act came into force on May 8, 1952. It was passed on October 1951, but it came into force, that is the implement part, on May 8, 1952. The Act is the system of industrial licensing. इसका main aim क्या था? License. We have to give them license. It is through industrial license that the main objective of the government industrial policy have to be achieved. So in this, we are going to give license to those industry which are going to work as per the rules and regulations followed in the industrial sector. So in this part, the license was one of the important key terms in this Industrial Development Regulation Act 1951. We are moving ahead with the third point, that is the Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. In this 1956, the main objective of this Industrial Policy Resolution 1956 was that to accelerate the rate of growth and to speed up industrialization. Here, they are going to increase the growth rate in the industrialization in the industrial sector, so that this sector will be improving and it's going to be a very growth one in the economy. So this was the first objective. Second was to develop heavy industries and machine making industries. Heavy means they are going to produce at a very large amount of output, and with that they are going to uh, develop machines in the industries for the better quality and the quantity of output of goods and services at the lesser time. Next objective is to expand the public sector. They have to expand the public sector in the industrial sector. Next one is to reduce the disparities in the income and wealth. Here, the main objective of this policy was to reduce the disparity. They want to reduce the inequality in the income and the wealth of the people. Here, they are planning to give the employment to each and every people, so that the difference between in the income of the people or not income of the people, so they have to reduce that disparities, because as there is a high level of employment in the economy, so economy is going to be progressive. The second last one is to build up the large and the growing cooperative sector. Here, They are going to build a large and the growing cooperative sector that will indirectly help the industrial sector in the finance part, the labor part, in the different equipments, right? So if we are going to increase this cooperative sector, that will help me in the industrial sector. And the last one over here is to prevent monopolies and to concentrate of wealth and the income in the hand of small number of individuals. Now, we have to prevent from monopolies. What is monopoly? Monopoly means there is no other seller to produce that goods and services. It means he or she may charge their own prices to sell that goods and services. So we have to prevent our customer from this monopoly. हमें monopoly से बचाना है अपने customers को. And another one, we have to concentrate on the small number of individuals with the wealth and the income. So this was the main objective and the last objective of the Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. The main features of this policy. Now we have seen the what are the objectives. Now we are going to list down what are the features of this policy. So the features has been categorized in three. The features have three categories. We are moving with the first one. In first category, 17 industries were listed, including arms, immuni- immuniza- immunization, atomic energy, iron and steel, responsibilities of the state. Right now, these were your 17 industries were included in the first categories, and these 17 industries are the responsibilities of the state. In which state these industries were located, the responsibilities of the state to carry out these 17 industries, right? Now in the second category, right? In the second category, 12 industries were listed. These industries were to be progressive state-owned, but the private sector was expected to extend cooperation to the state. Here, again, the progressive is in the hand of state government, but here the private sector want to help them, want to extend the cooperation to the state for the these 12 industries which were listed in the second category of the features of the Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. And the last one, the third category was all the remaining industrial, sorry, in the third category, all the remaining industries were left, which are mostly the consumer goods industries for the private sectors. In the third category, they have just the industry which were left, right? The remaining industries, that is for the consumer goods industries. So that industries were given to the private sectors. So I hope you are clear with the Industrial Policy Resolution 1956 with the objectives and with the main features which is divided into three categories, 1, 2, 3. In first category, 17 industries and the responsibility was towards the state government. In the second category, 12 industries, right? Again, the progressive is in the hand of state government, but public sector is going to help them. In third sector, the rest or remaining industries, right? जो बाकी के industries जो बची हैं, so they will be for the private sector. And now I'm moving ahead with the Industrial Policy Statement 1977. So this was the fourth one. The Janta government, which came into power in 1977, was dissatisfied with the performance of industrial sector. Now this government was really dissatisfied with the performance of industrial sector. Maybe from their point of view, the industrial sector was decreasing or declining the growth rate. So what they have said, the earlier policy implementation was defective and unsatisfactory, right? उन्होंने क्या बोला, जो पहले की जो इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर है हमारा, वो बहुत डिफेक्टिव है. इट मींस in that policy there are very loopholes, they are unsatisfied. So the policy statement of Janata government laid emphasis on the following points. Now they have included some points which are not, we can say, included in the earlier industrial sector policies. So what are they? We कौन से हैं? The first one is employment job opportunities are to be increased by encouraging cottage and small scale industrial units. So here, first of all, they have done the focus on the small and the cottage scale industries. So if I'm going to encourage this, we are going to generate the employment opportunities for the people. So they are saying that we are going to generate job opportunities for the people. We are going to increase the employment level by increasing the cottage and small scale industrial unit. Second one, the tiny sector. The tiny sector is to be identified and encouraged. We have to first identify what are the tiny sectors, and then we have to encourage them, we have to motivate them, we have to push them so that these sectors are also being well known to everyone. They are through this we are going to earn some kind of income or other things. Next one, the role of large industrial houses is to be reduced. Here the role of large industrial houses is to be reduced, but the role of the large industrial, they have to reduce, they have to decrease their role so that the small industry can be the part of that. So if large industries are going to take more decision, are going to be considered more, so we are neglecting the small and the cottage industry. So we have to reduce the role of large industrial houses so that they can be equality to everyone. Next point, industrial activity should spread in semi-urban and rural centers. This industrial activity should be spread not only in the cities. There are areas, there are some centers where we have to increase these industrial activities in that area also, so we can generate an employment level, we can give the opportunities, job opportunities to the people. So in which area we are going to increase? In the semi-urban areas and in the rural centers, right? And then now, second last one is the formation of district industrial centers to cater the need of small units located in a district. Now there is a formation of district industries. District matlab at each district they are going to form the industrial centers where they are going to cater, where they are going to uh, provide the services to the need of the small units. यहाँ पे हम क्या करेंगे, जो हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट लेवल पे जो हमारे इंडस्ट्रीज है, ठीक है, वो हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में होंगे और वो लोग हेल्प करेंगे. They are going to help, they are going to provide services to the small units which are located in each district. तो वो लोग क्या करेंगे, जो स्मॉल यूनिट्स वाले हैं उनको ये हेल्प करेंगे जहाँ पे ये कोई से भी डिस्ट्रिक्ट में हो. तो each district wise will going to help each one every year. And the fifth one is the industrial policy 1980. The 1980 policy, that is the industrial policy 1980, aimed at a speedy growth in the industrial sector. The main aim of this policy was there has to be a speedy growth rate. There has to be an increase in the growth rate of the industrial sector. So to increase that growth rate, to speedy that growth of the industrial sector, the objectives of this policy are: first one, The investment limit for the small scale was revised. Here, there is a limit for the small scale sectors. So we have, in this revised part, we have increased the investment level. Now there is now there will be more finance, there will be more investment in the small scale, so they can upgrade themselves. Next one, measures were initiated to encourage the setting up the small scale and cottage industries in the backward area. Here, they are going to encourage, they are going to initiate that, they are going to set up, right, small scale and cottage industries in the backward area. जो हमारा बोलते हैं ना पिछला हुआ एरिया है which is not developed yet, तो वहां पे हम लोग स्मॉल स्केल और कॉटेज इंडस्ट्रीज अगर सेटअप करते हैं तो वहां पे दो चीज हो जाएंगे. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, पीपल विल गेट जॉब. दूसरा चीज, द एरिया जहाँ पे जो बैकवर्ड एरिया है दैट एरिया विल बी डेवलप्ड because of the small and the cottage industries which we are setting up there. Clear? So the next point for the objective of Industrial Policy 1918 was, so sorry, they have a special emphasis, right? They have an emphasis on the placed on promotion of handlooms, handicraft, khadi and village industries in the rural area to generate higher employment. अभी ये लोग क्या बोल रहे हैं, वी आर हम लोग इस चीजों को बहुत फोकस देंगे क्योंकि इनसे, इन सब चीजों से, हैंडलूम्स हो गया, हैंडीक्राफ्ट हो गया, खादी हो गया, विलेज इंडस्ट्रीज हो गई, so through this we are going to generate employment in the village. वहां पे लोगों के लिए एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट होगा. So again we are going to increase the standard of living of the people. Again that will increase the economy. They are going to increase the industrial sector, and if there is growth in the industrial sector, the economy will be growing, right? Next one, special emphasis was placed on the export oriented units and on the import substitute industries. Now, what they have here explained, they have explained over here is we are going to focus on export part. हमको ज्यादा से ज्यादा export करना है. We are going to do main focus on the export part. How we are going to export, the qualities of the goods and services, at what quantity we are going to export, and when we are talking about the import means we are purchasing the goods and services from the other countries. So we, for that goods, we are going to find the substitute industries. We are going to find the substitute firm for that, so that we can rather than taking the import product, we can take the substitute of that product, so that this will again increase the economy, again it will increase the growth rate of the industrial sector as well as the economy. Next one, objective is, or features is, viable sick unit to be revised by merging with the healthy unit, and tax concession would be made available to such mergers. Now here what they are going to say is we are going to merge, revise kare. Revise matlab when we are doing revise matlab if there is a need for the change in the policy, or there is a need change in the scheme. जब भी हमको कुछ चेंज करना होता है तो we always say revised, right? So in this revived, what we are going to do is we are going to merge the healthy units with the tax concession. So this merge will again help the industrial sector. We are going to give concession to the few, we can say few goods, commodities, industries, to the industries which are located in the backward areas, the industries which are located in the rural areas, for their development. Next is the policy initiated various concession for the alternative energy sources in view of increasing the energy prices. Now here they are going to provide, there are different policies which are going to give concession for the alternative energy sources, right? So that there should not be any energy crisis in the country. So we are going to increase the energy crisis in the economy through the through the concession part. And this one is the last sixth industrial policy statement 1985. So this a policy aimed at liberalizing the industry, right? We have to liberalize the industry, and the important features are, first one is automatic expansion of capacity was permitted subject to the certain condition. Here there should be automatic expansion of the capacity. Matlab, for example, if a manufacturer is going to produce 10,000 units for a year, so the next year the expansion of the capacity should be permitted automatically from 10,000 to 15,000, right? According to the conditions of the industries, right? Next is the asset limit to the MRTP. We are going to learn what is MRTP, what it is, right? So don't worry about this word. We are going to see in the next one or two slides what is this and what does it mean and how it going to affect the industrial sector. Now the assets limit of MRTP unit raised from 20 crores to the 100 crore. This was the second features of the industrial policy statement 1985. Next is the investment limit for the small scale sector was revised. Revised मतलब वापस change किया है limit. So the revised investment limit was rupees 25 lakhs. I think उससे पहले कम था. Revised करके they have increased the investment limit up to 25 lakhs. Next, the number of industries required compulsory license was reduced from 56 to 26. Why there is a required for license? License means that industries have the permissions from the government to operate properly, to function properly with the certain rules and regulations given in the industrial sector. So they have reduced the license from 56 to 26. It's almost half, we can say. And the next one is the income tax benefit for 10 years was located a unit in the backward areas, right? So here they will be getting tax benefit. Tax benefit means the low rate of income tax, or there is no tax for the 10 years of the industries which are located in the backward areas. जो backward areas में जो industry जो located की गई है उनको हम concession देंगे किसमें, income tax में. कितने साल के लिए? For the 10 years. Either the rate will be reduced or there will be no tax for that industry which are located in the backward areas for the less cost of production. So this was the we can say evolution of industrial policy prior to 1991. So after this, there is a Monopolies and Restricted Trade Practice Act 1969, which we are going to do right now, and the Foreign Exchange Regulation Act FIRA in 1973. Right. So these two were the Indian policies and regulations. So now we are moving ahead with the Competition Act 2002. Okay. Competition Act 2002, what it reflects? Now there are economic reforms and the opening of the economic in 1991. 1991 में एक नया reform हुआ था जिसमें we have opened a new economic in the year 1991. So there was an urgent and the persistent demand for the removal of scrap of MRTP Act by the industrialists. वहां पे urgently बोला था कि इस एक्ट को हटा दो, हमें ये एक्ट नहीं चाहिए. And this was on the urgent basis it was done. So what government has did, the MRT Act was irrelevant and impractical. What the people said, what the people said over here is this act is irrelevant. एक तो ये act बहुत irrelevant है, कुछ related नहीं है towards the industrial sector. Impractical मतलब practically oriented नहीं है. So here what we have to do is we have to just इसको हटा देना MRTP एक्ट को, and we are going to do with the new liberalized economy and the global competitive environment. अगर हम को liberalized economy चाहिए या हम if you want to do competition at the global level, this act is not relevant. It will not match the standard of at the global level. It may not be relevant, it not be practically oriented in the liberalized economy. So the government appointed the expert committee, and the head was the head or the in charge of that committee was S.V.S. Raghavan sir. So he is going to study the whole problem. He is going to study what is the whole problem of this act. So then he recommended his team, his committee was recommended by few contents that we have to abolish the MRTP Act and we have to adopt a new competition law. What it is, we are going to see in the next slide. The Competition Bill 2001 was passed in the Parliament in December 2002. अभी ये जो बिल है हमारा वो हमारा पार्लियामेंट में पास कभी हुआ था? In December 2002. मतलब the bill was we can say हम लोग ने पार्लियामेंट में 2001 में रखा था बट पास हुआ December 2002 में, and it was amended in September 2007. मतलब फिर भी उसको इम्प्लीमेंट होने के लिए 5 साल लगे अपनी कंट्री में. Now here this Competition Act provides setting up of the Competition Commission in India. So this is going to provide Competition Commission of India, that is CCI. So this Competition Commission of India is the full form of CCI. Here the CCI set up eliminate practices which is harmful to the competition. Now in this Competition Commission of India, what they have done is they are going to set up they are going to eliminate the practices which are harmful in the competition. जो competition में harmful चीजें उन सबको ये लोग निकालते जाएंगे. They are going to eliminate that part. Then the main aim of the commission was to sustain competition in the market in India, to protect the interest of the consumer and to ensure freedom of trade. Here the main aim of this act was to protect the interest of the consumer, right? That was the main thing, to ensure that there is a freedom of trade and they have to sustain the competition in market in India. The competition should be healthy. The competition should be sustained over there for the betterment for the upcoming technologies, not in the negative manner. So the aims of Competition Act 2002 was, first, prohibition of anti-competitive agreement. No enterprises or a person shall enter into any agreement in respect of production, supply, distribution, storage, acquisition, control of goods and services which lead an adverse effect in the competition. हमें ऐसे कोई भी एग्रीमेंट में इन्वॉल्व नहीं होना है, चाहे कोई भी टर्म्स हो, आपका प्रोडक्शन हो, सप्लाई हो, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, स्टोरेज हो, एक्विजिशन, कंट्रोल ऑफ गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज हो, which will have a negative effect on the competition, which an adverse effect on the competition. So in other words, we can say a person or an enterprises will not engage in any economic activity which has a negative impact on the competition. and it is necessary to encourage the competition. Clear with this? So the next aim we are so not engage in the economic activity which lead a negative impact on the competition. Second one is the prohibition of abuse of dominant position. Dominant position means a position of strength by an enterprises in the relevant market in India. यहाँ पे क्या बोल रहे हैं? The dominance मतलब मैं strong हूँ. Dominant means in the an enterprises which is dominating other enterprises. मतलब वो बहुत strong है financially position wise. तो उसे अपना dominant position उसको गलत वे में use नहीं करना है. ठीक है? According to this Competition Act, no enterprises shall abuse. Abuse मतलब उनको अब उनका फायदा नहीं उठाना है. Abuse its dominant position. उसको अपनी position का गलत फायदा नहीं उठाना है. The misuse of the dominant position is to be prohibited. If they are going to use this uh, position for the abuse part or for the misuse part, so we have not given any kind of permission to that enterprises. So the dominant position enable an enterprises to operate independently or affect the competition. So this is again going to affect the competition, क्योंकि अगर एक enterprises है जो dominant position पे है तो उस सबको उसका मानना पड़ेगा. तो again that will uh, give a negative impact in the competition, जिससे हमारा competition healthy नहीं रहेगा. Next one, right? No enterprise shall abuse its dominant position. They have to prohibit the misuse of dominant position. And the next one is the regulation of combination. The acquisition of one or more enterprises by one or more persons or merge or amalgamation of unit will be treated as combination. जहाँ पे एक से ज्यादा पर्सन या कंपनी आपका मर्ज होता है. मर्ज मतलब when two companies combines together. Amalgamation means we are going to combine two company as a one company. So we are going to treat that as a combination. So if the following condition exists, अगर ये condition exist हुई तो the first one is the acquisition by the large enterprises. जब large enterprises किसी को acquire करेगी. Second one is acquisition by the group. If it is acquisition is by the group. Third one, acquisition of enterprise in having similar goods or services. जब भी एक there are similar goods and services which they are going to produce, they are going to acquire the enterprises. So these conditions should exist there. Then only we can do the combination, we can merge, we can amalgamate the units. The next one is the acquiring enterprises having similar goods or services by a group. Here we are going to again acquire which are similar in the nature or the goods or services by a group. Next one is merge of enterprises or merge in a group company. Merge हो रहा है हमारे enterprises या हमारे group companies. And the last one is the competition advocacy. Competition advocacy refers to creating a culture of competition in the market. Here we are going to create a culture in the competition. So the Competition Act proposed to not only enforce anti-competition law but also to advocate a culture in the competition. So in order to promote competition advocacy and create awareness about the competition issues and impact on the relevant training. So this act is going to propose the setting up of the competition fund. So here we are going to give them awareness about this competition, what are the issues and the impact related to this in the training period. So this was the main aim of the Competition Act 2002. The silent feature of this Competition Act is first one, there is an urgent, persistent demand for the removal of MRTP Act by the industrialist, right? irrelevant impractices in the new liberalized economy and the global competition environment. Third one, appointment expert. Sorry, this will not be a silent feature. To study the whole problem as it is. Next one, abolished MRP Act and the new Competition Act was adopted. And it was amended in 2000. So this was just an introduction part. So you can write this content as an main as a silent feature of this competition act, right? So this is I have explained you in the introduction part. If you're going to write this is the introduction, so you don't have to write specifically in the silent feature. If it is asked in this as a silent feature, then only you're going to write all this content in the silent feature. Clear with this? Then CCI set up to eliminate practices which are harmful to the competition, I explained in the last content. And the aim of the commission to sustain competition in the market in India to protect the interest of the consumers and to ensure freedom of trade. So here I have completed your this one, your evolution of the industrial policies and the regulations prior to 1991, and this was your Competition Act 2002, why we replaced MRTP Act. So this was the main reasons, objectives and silent feature of this Competition Act. I hope you are clear with this. In the next content, we will be doing what is the difference between MRTP Act 1969 and the Competition Act 2002. So again, we are going to do, so for the next lecture, be ready with this content. We will do a revision part and then we will move ahead with the distinguished part. Okay. If you have any doubts, please let me know after come on in the comment section. समझ में आया होगा आज का content? So I wish that you people are safe and healthy at your home. So God bless you all. Thank you so much.